Under the dazzling stadium lights and the roaring cheers of thousands, an unforgettable chapter in football history was about to be written. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation and excitement as fans gathered to witness another thrilling encounter featuring their beloved team, led by the incomparable Lionel Messi. Yet, behind the glittering spectacle and the artistry of the game, a secret story of hidden potential and unyielding determination was poised to emerge from the most unlikely of places, a place occupied by Messi's steadfast bodyguard, Rodrigo. For years, Rodrigo had served as Messi's personal protector, a silent guardian whose presence was as formidable as it was reassuring. With a muscular build honed through years of rigorous training and an unassuming demeanor that belied a fierce inner spirit, Rodrigo was known for his vigilance and loyalty. His life had been one of duty and sacrifice, always standing in the background, ensuring that the star's every step was safe. Yet, unbeknownst to many, Rodrigo harbored a lifelong passion for football, a passion kindled during his childhood on dusty fields in a small town in Argentina, where dreams were as expansive as the open skies. Despite having chosen a path that led him away from the limelight, Rodrigo's heart had never truly left the game. Every moment he spent protecting Messi was also a chance to absorb the nuances of the sport, the graceful dribbles, the calculated passes, and the sheer artistry of play. It was during one of those quiet hours spent studying the game that he had signed an unusual clause in his contract with the club. The clause stated that in the rare event of Messi suffering an injury or being unable to play, Rodrigo was to step in and take his place on the field. At the time, it was considered a mere formality, an odd backup plan to cover unforeseen circumstances. No one, not even Rodrigo himself, could have foreseen the day when that clause would spark an extraordinary metamorphosis. The match had begun with all the usual flair and brilliance. Messi's dazzling footwork and visionary passes had the crowd in a state of euphoria, while the opponents fought valiantly to counteract the brilliance on display. Every touch of the ball was poetry in motion until fate interjected in the most dramatic fashion. In a heartbeat, an unforeseen collision with an opposing player sent Messi crashing to the ground, clutching his leg in agony. A collective gasp surged through the stadium as the realization took hold: the icon of modern football might be sidelined for the remainder of the game. In the ensuing chaos, the coach's eyes darted across the bench, landing on Rodrigo. The contract clause was clear and unyielding: if Messi could not continue, Rodrigo must take the field. The decision, while unorthodox, was immediate and irrevocable. A blend of trepidation and exhilaration surged through Rodrigo. Here, at last, was the moment he had silently dreamed of for years: a chance to step out of the shadows and onto the hallowed turf, to prove that his passion and training were not confined solely to the realm of security. With a resolute nod to the coach, Rodrigo accepted the responsibility, his heart pounding in rhythm with the resounding cheers of the crowd. As he walked towards the tunnel leading to the pitch, every step reverberated with the weight of history in the making. The media, quick to latch onto a narrative of unexpected heroism, buzzed with speculation. Headlines began to form in real time, from bodyguard to battlefield, and the day the Guardian became the Gladiator. Yet for Rodrigo, the shifting attention was secondary to the raw, visceral call of destiny. In his mind, each practice drill and every late-night session spent honing his skills had been building towards this singular moment. He recalled the countless evenings under a fading sky, playing barefoot on cracked earth, dreaming of a day when he could truly shine on the field. Now, with the eyes of the world upon him, that long-suppressed dream was awakening in a blaze of determination. Stepping onto the field felt surreal. The lush green pitch stretched out before him like a vast, uncharted territory, and the deafening roar of the crowd was both intimidating and invigorating. Rodrigo took his position where Messi had once ruled supreme, a position filled with expectation and the lingering aura of genius. The initial moments were filled with hesitation, his every movement was measured, as if he were learning the art of the game all over again. But as the whistle blew to resume play, a remarkable transformation began. The bodyguard's innate understanding of positioning and timing, absorbed from years of silent observation, emerged as a guiding force. In the opening minutes of his debut, Rodrigo moved with a mix of raw power and surprising finesse. The opposing team, initially dismissive of his untested credentials, quickly realized that they were facing more than a mere understudy. His every stride and calculated touch on the ball spoke of an untapped reservoir of talent and passion. Teammates who had once only exchanged nods with the quiet guardian now passed him the ball with unspoken trust, their eyes reflecting hope and curiosity. The stadium's atmosphere, initially tinged with disbelief, began to shift as the crowd rallied behind this unexpected contender. Murmurs of "Vamos, Rodrigo" rose above the din, transforming into a steady chant that seemed to fuel his resolve. Amid the whirlwind of activity on the field, Rodrigo's thoughts turned inward. Memories of his early struggles, the countless obstacles he had overcome, and the silent prayers whispered during long, lonely training sessions all converged in that pivotal moment. The echoes of his past urged him forward, and he found himself gliding past defenders with an almost preternatural grace. In one electrifying sequence near midfield, he intercepted a pass and launched a counterattack that sent a ripple of excitement through the stands. Though that particular move did not culminate in a goal, it ignited a realization that his destiny was no longer confined to the sidelines. As the first half neared its climax, the intensity on the pitch reached fever pitch. The scoreline remained unchanged, yet the narrative of the game had taken on a deeper, more dramatic dimension. Every pass, every sprint, every collision with an opponent was laden with meaning. The pressure was immense, but so was the support from every corner of the stadium. For Rodrigo, this was more than a substitution, it was a declaration that talent and heart could defy conventional roles. With the injured Messi receiving urgent care on the sidelines, the weight of expectation rested solely on his broad shoulders. In the quiet moments before halftime, as Rodrigo retreated briefly to rejoin his teammates, he allowed himself a fleeting moment of introspection. The cheers of the crowd, the fervent support of his fellow players, and the magnitude of the opportunity before him converged into a singular resolve: to give everything for the team, to honor the faith placed in him, and to prove that even the most unanticipated heroes could rise to greatness. The first half had been a roller coaster of emotions, a blend of triumph, uncertainty, and the raw promise of a legend in the making. As the stadium lights softened in anticipation of the break, Rodrigo's heart pounded with the realization that the true test was yet to come. With the contract's extraordinary clause now in force and the eyes of the world upon him, every second on that field was a step toward rewriting destiny. His journey from Guardian to Gladiator had only just begun, and the challenges of the second half loomed large, filled with the promise of moments that would soon define not only the match but his very legacy. The second half had arrived with renewed vigor and tension, the stadium still reeling from the shocking turn of events. While Messi was attended to on the sidelines, the atmosphere on the pitch had transformed into a crucible of opportunity and determination. The players, gathering for a brief yet impassioned huddle, absorbed the coach's succinct call to arms, a call that resonated deeply with every heartbeat in the dressing room. Amidst this fervor, Rodrigo's eyes shone with an intensity that belied his humble beginnings. Every teammate's nod and every encouraging shout reinforced that today was not merely about replacing a legend, it was about igniting a new spark of hope and courage on the field. Rodrigo re-entered the pitch with an almost tangible aura of determination. The opening minutes of the second half were an intricate dance of cautious plays and swift exchanges. His earlier hesitance melted away as he began to trust the skills that had been honed not just through years of diligent security work, but through a lifelong, quiet passion for football. The rhythm of the game now pulsed in tandem with his own heartbeats, and every calculated sprint, every deliberate touch of the ball, testified to a wellspring of talent that had long lain dormant beneath the surface. The opposition, initially confident in their ability to capitalize on the unexpected substitution, soon discovered that Rodrigo was a force to be reckoned with. Their tactics, meticulously planned to neutralize Messi's brilliance, found little purchase against a man who had absorbed every nuance of the game by standing in the very shadow of greatness. His positioning was instinctive and graceful, and it wasn't long before the defenders, once smug in their dismissal of the backup, began to scramble in a futile attempt to anticipate his every move. It was as if Rodrigo, in that moment, embodied the spirit of the game itself, a blend of passion, precision, and raw, unbridled courage. A defining moment unfolded when Rodrigo intercepted a pass near the midfield. The ball, as if imbued with a will of its own, seemed to seek him out, inviting him to orchestrate a counterattack. With a burst of speed that left both opponents and spectators momentarily breathless, he surged forward, leaving behind a trail of confusion and disbelief among the rival defenders. The stands, already buzzing with murmurs of astonishment, now erupted into a crescendo of cheers. Every eye in the stadium was fixed on the lone figure dashing towards destiny, his every step a declaration that this was his time to shine. As he neared the penalty area, time appeared to slow. The goalkeeper, a veteran known for his anticipatory prowess, squared his stance, preparing for what seemed like an inevitable confrontation. In that charged moment, Rodrigo's mind quieted, every thought of doubt was replaced by the clarity of purpose. With a swift, decisive strike, he sent the ball whistling past the goalkeeper and into the net. The roar of the crowd was deafening, a mixture of disbelief and euphoria, as the first of his 2 decisive goals lit up the scoreboard. That goal wasn't just a number on a board, it was the manifestation of every secret dream, every whispered prayer from his youth, and every lesson learned from watching the maestro he had long admired. But the story was far from over. The opposition, now desperate to claw back into the game, unleashed a barrage of attacks in a frantic bid to level the score. Each offensive move was met with Rodrigo's unyielding defense and swift counterattacks. His performance on the field was a mesmerizing blend of anticipation and artistry. Every time the ball came close, his feet moved with the assuredness of someone who had practiced these maneuvers in the quiet hours of the night, far from the prying eyes of the world. With every defensive stop and every well-timed pass, he began to shape the narrative of the match, shifting the momentum irrevocably in his team's favor. Then came the moment that would define his legacy. In an exchange of passes near the edge of the box, the ball found its way to Rodrigo once more. This time, he was met by not one, but 2 determined defenders. In a move that captured the imagination of everyone watching, he executed a swift feint, leaving one defender grasping at empty air, and then sliced past the other with a burst of speed reminiscent of the legendary dribbles of his erstwhile idol. The crowd's collective breath caught as Rodrigo, now with a clear view of the goal, steadied himself. His eyes, filled with a mixture of resolve and anticipation, locked onto the target. In that suspended second, the stadium fell into a hush that spoke of both awe and expectation. With a deft touch and a curl of his foot, he launched a shot that arced beautifully around the diving goalkeeper. The ball struck the back of the net with a sound that seemed to echo across the pitch, sealing the match with its precision. The second goal, a winning one, sent shockwaves through the stadium. The roar that followed was not just the sound of victory but of a collective exclamation: the underdog had triumphed, and a new hero had been born on the hallowed turf of football. As the final whistle blew, the celebrations erupted in a frenzy of jubilation and disbelief. Teammates rushed to embrace Rodrigo, their faces alight with admiration and newfound hope. The stadium, a sea of flags and chanting voices, transformed into a living testament to the beauty of unexpected triumph. Reporters and pundits alike marveled at the astonishing performance, each headline and social media post echoing a common refrain, from Guardian to Gladiator. In the days that followed, Rodrigo's extraordinary feat became the talk of the nation. Analysts dissected every move, and fans relived the highlights over and over, each viewing a reminder that football was a game of heart as much as skill. In the midst of the post-match celebrations and the flood of accolades, Rodrigo found a quiet moment to reflect. The journey from a loyal bodyguard to a celebrated player had been as surreal as it was challenging. His mind wandered back to those early, dusty fields of his youth, where dreams were nurtured under an endless sky. Today, every step he had taken had led him to this singular moment of glory, a moment that transcended the ordinary, affirming that sometimes, destiny is written in the most unexpected chapters. During the post-match press conference, the coach's words resonated with an almost poetic quality. Today, we witness not just a game, but the evolution of a man who has embraced his destiny with courage and humility. Rodrigo's performance reminds us all that heroes can emerge from the most unlikely places. Such praise was not merely about a single match, it was an ode to resilience, determination, and the belief that every individual holds within them the potential for greatness. That historic night, under the twinkling canopy of a star-filled sky, Rodrigo's triumph became a beacon for dreamers everywhere. His story was a testament to the power of seizing an unexpected opportunity and transforming it into a legacy that would inspire future generations. As the celebration slowly waned and the echoes of that remarkable match faded into memory, one truth remained crystal clear: on that unforgettable day, the beautiful game was graced by the rise of an extraordinary hero, a hero who, with every stride and every goal, had redefined the very essence of football.